Did you make it all the way to Cassock season?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I wore a cassock. I wore a cassock for like 6 or 7 months or so.
Okay,
Yeah.
you pulled the Benvenga.
I quit right before. Yeah, I quit right before a month of work.
Nice.
Okay.
It was actually a pretty good time.
Yeah. Was that what made you quit?
No, it was actually coincidentally really good reasons. Like I was real depressed and unhappy and just wanted to go. And then I told them that, and they were like, "Okay."
Nice.
And then I left.
Yeah.
I told them that. They were like, "Carry your cross, brother."
Yeah, no, it was a bit more forceful.
You're like, "Fuck this."
Yeah.
Nice.
I know. I'm also so like the way that it happened was who is it? Father Joseph, one of the Father Josephs that's from Canada got stuck in Canada, couldn't come back to the U.S. because he couldn't get a visa or something, and he was our novice instructor at the time, and so Father Joseph Brickner,
Yes.
I believe, had to take over, and he was just there, and I was already like, he just came on. I was like, hey, yeah, I was just talking with him, and it's been pretty crappy for me. And he goes, okay, cool. So you're leaving? I was like, yeah, sure.
Wow.
Dude, I remember. I don't know if this was you. It might not be you. You were at ICAS, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah. I feel like I have a memory of you or someone that looked like you who was reading Aragon in the chapel, like before morning prayer. No. Okay, not ringing a bell. Okay.
I mean, I remember reading Aragon, but I don't think I read that at ICAS.
Okay.
I think I was more like fucking try hard.
Okay.
Like, read the Bible, pray the breviary, do that shit.
Sure. Okay. I just remember somebody getting in trouble for it, and I've been trying to figure that out since I left. I'm like, damn, who was that? So
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's a great mystery.
Yes.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out a name. Gregory Gwynn?
Could have been a great.
No,
No.
wasn't him.
I don't think it was in my year.
No, he was in my grade.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think he left before he anyway.
It might have been. Yeah. That sounds kind of.
Because I think he was into
Bells are
that
ringing.
book, but I don't know. I don't remember anymore. Shout out to him though,
Shout
wherever
out,
he
man.
is.
Yeah, what a legend.
Yeah, I think he was before your time, Mitch. So sorry, I bringing up someone.
Yeah, no worries.
Someone from before, someone who's ancient.
I mean, it's inevitable with all, everybody here.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
year?
So how did you get involved with the Legion and ICAS?
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trauma.
God, that's like 8 lifetimes ago. Jesus Christ. I mean, so the first legionary sort of contact I remember was my dad moved all over the country with his family, and we lived in Louisiana and not in Louisiana, and a bunch of times we moved back to Louisiana a bunch because we have family down here. And at one point we went to a conquest sort of camp, and then we went to Bocam, which is like the big, you may have heard of it from like Chris Goldcamp or something. It's the big, what's it called, legionary run camp down here, which was genuinely freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that they did there was super dope. I mean, like the old, it's just, fun camp shit, right? Like just like playing wolf and
Was there a
counselors and camp shit.
Mitch, when you were there, was there a Zachary Dominguez or brother Zachary?
Yeah. Yeah, he was the one that that brought me up, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was
really?
the one that got me to go to the summer program. Yeah.
So we know who to blame.
Yeah. So you're there with like
I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. So
That was a good shot. That was a dead eye. That was brother, father, whatever. Yeah, Zachary Dominguez is the guy who got me to go up to the summer camp. He would, convinced me.
nice.
right on. Sorry.
What year was that?
Oh God, I'm so bad with you.
No, it's okay. I guess when I
It's 2022, right?
yeah, it's 2022 now.
I mean, like, fuck. I mean, we went. The thing
2006?
was with BoCam is that like we went to BoCam for years. I went to BoCam for years.
Okay.
My little brother went to BoCam for years. All our family's been. My little brother living in the next room over here has been to BoCam a billion times.
Yeah.
Like, but when I went and then I went to the summer program afterwards. Jesus Christ, that would have been like 2010-ish, 11, 12.
Oh, okay. That late?
Maybe a little early. Maybe like 2006. Now I'm thinking about it. I was that younger, yeah. So
Yeah.
I feel like you would have been earlier than that because you went to ICAS, right? Because we had kids from Louisiana come to Sacred Heart. So you would have been before.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah, my little brother went to Sacred Heart.
Yeah, so I was at Sacred Heart. I was the first class in and out of there. So
okay, cool.
Like
okay, cool. Yeah, he went
like
later.
The comps. I don't know if you knew them. Yeah.
Yeah. We knew. I used to go to BoCamp with the LeComps. Yeah, LeComps were good buddies of mine from like BoCamp and like Conquest and stuff like that. We basically kind of grew up together. They were a bunch of fucking football boys, let me tell you. Like,
those are some Southern boys.
They're some tough fucking Cajun rednecks. Oh yeah, no, they're great. I love them to death.
Now, did ICAS's gymnasium come into play for you when you made your decision?
Okay, so the funny thing about that is that they actually sold me on that because they knew that I love basketball so much.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys probably remember, because I mean, how you forget, right? I was like enormous.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was 12 years old and 6'2", right? Like just like what the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, not 6'2". I was at 6. I actually hit 6 feet about 12 years old, and then kept growing. So I'm like 6'4" right now, right? So
okay.
But
still haven't stopped.
Yeah, no.
Dang.
Yeah, it was. I played a fuck ton of basketball back in the day, and really loved it. It was one of the things that that was like super. I mean, accessible for me just because I was really tall and I just worked. I didn't have like we homeschooled, so I didn't have a lot of like after school activities or friends or anything like that. And to like just get out of the house and just do something, I just literally just go in the yard and shoot hoops all the time. So
okay, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was that kind of kid.
Yeah.
So
Well, it did carry over. You never really lost it at ICAS.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's the fun stuff. I really love being as good as I mean, you guys remember like back in the day when we used to play and stuff, and like I remember what's his name? One in particular was Father Kevin Meehan had a game where he called a bunch of people. He would used to like call people in after night prayers and stuff, and he would like take people out and we play a game of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple where I got to play, and there's one in particular which was the first one I got to play with him, where he was like, "Oh, this new like Father David told him this new kid thinks he's like hot stuff," and so because I was awesome,
yeah,
and and he just clobbered me up and down the court. I mean, absolutely, like smack with his hand, like go up for a foul and gut me in the stomach, like all the classic tricks. Yeah, no, totally. And the thing is, I was used to it because I was big and I was playing ball I was playing ball in the summer. With this AAU league, which is like competitive, like pre-high school stuff, which is tons of fun and did really well. And we had a great team, like in Baton Rouge, was at the time. But then during the school year, I was just about as big comparatively as I was for ICAS. So I was the team. And so when you are the team, the refs don't like it. Mm. And so they start not calling fouls to make the game kind of more fair because it's, bitty ball, right? It's kid ball. Like their parents want to see them like play and have fun and stuff. They don't want to see someone who looks like, a 20-year-old running up and down the court dunking on people, right? Like, yeah. But that's what it was. It was pretty comical.
Just a grown ass man.
No, it was actually comical. My dad was the actual coach for the team, and like we had the team that one year when I was there at that school, and then the athletic program folded completely the next year, like literally. Like that was the whole thing. This was also a legionary, like affiliated Random Christie school called Cypress Heights, which has since closed down and shit.
No.
Oh yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Everything's closed down.
Oh yeah. So terrible. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was hilarious. I mean, it literally would get to the point where I'd score like, I think the most I scored in the game was like 44 points at one point, like in 8th grade. And the kids were literally like, the other team at that point would literally like just grab my arm and just like just like try to pull me like any way physically possible to stop this man, right? And my dad is, you know, this Italian old man over there on the sideline, just like fuming out of his mind, angry, yelling at the refs, like, what the hell? Like, you're not. And like the favorite thing that we heard back was if he's going to score 40 points, he's going to have to take a couple hits.
Hey, you got to put your body on the line for the points.
So to get back to the Father Kevin thing, I just let him beat me up.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do.
Because you can't fight back.
But it was fun. And after that, it was just play ball, and it was fun.
Yeah.
No, and you can't do anything to him. I mean, a couple of times I would go to the lane and like go hard to go up or something. He'd be like, "Bet the charge." I'd be like, "You weren't even standing here."
Yeah.
Like, your arm. I hit your arm.
Yeah.
That's okay.
He can call your fouls, but you can't call it. You know, like
exactly.
Okay.
Oh yeah, all that shit. Yeah.
That's how Father David would play too.
Oh my God. No, I think the funniest times in my life for me were because my dad is like super, super like type A, like classic old Italian Catholic. So my dad used to run fundraising until moderately recently for all of North America for Legionaries. He was head of that department. For Regnum Christi, not for Legionaries themselves, but for Regnum Christi. He was, would pay the people who were the teams that were the fundraising teams, right? And they were accountable to him, and he's accountable to the regional director or whatever, right? So, I mean, he's been in it for so long, right? So it's just been such a part of our lives for so long. I mean, it's just kind of a crazy thing, but the funniest thing for me, because he's so type A, like Mr. I do it my way, old school, like that the funniest thing in the world was when we had father-son, what's it called?
That weekend?
We had, father-son weekend, because then my dad would play against Father David, and it was like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. It was the funniest fucking thing. I mean, they would like hoot and catcall at each other and fucking just yell all the time, and oh my gosh.
And that was when
it was
when Father David had the bad hip.
Yeah, no, and he was still out there throwing balls.
He was out there, talking smack, wobbling around.
All day.
Yeah, he's got the wobble. Oh no. This is going on video, and then Father David's going to see it, and we're all going to get murdered in our sleep. I don't think Father David would murder us, but
I don't think he has that kind of good stuff.
Well, I just don't think that's in his repertoire. I just don't think that's.
That's what I'm trying to say, right? I just don't think
I do think he has the chutzpah for it. Let me be clear. I do think he has the chutzpah for it. I don't think he would do it, though. That's the difference.
It takes a lot of chutzpah.
It does.
You got 4 people, 5 people. Like that's a.
But I think if we're talking fresh chutzpah, I think he has it. But I don't know. I have to.
He is Steffi.
Yeah, he is.
He is Mr. Steffi.
Yeah.
He great man. Anyway.
Did you enjoy your time at the father's table with him on your birthday?
Did you enjoy your birthdays at the father's table?
I just thought it was the weirdest and most awkward thing. I mean, me and Father David had a perfectly all right relationship because, like, I guess my dad's just kind of crazy, and I don't know. It was a lot better to get out of the house in a lot of ways for me sometimes. Mm-hmm. But like, I mean, he's not terrible, right? He's just very angry a lot of the time when I was growing up. But with Father David, it was just kind of like, I feel like we had an understanding of like, yeah, I'm happy to be here and happy to please. What do you want? Mm-hmm. And he mostly just like, okay, whatever.
What'd you end up doing around for housework and stuff? Like, what was your...
Oh my gosh, I was just about to ask that.
Hell yeah, really.
So I had the weirdest... So I think they gave me... So the first thing that they gave me for housework, I think they did this, like, it was hemming people's pants.
I did that too for a bit.
That's right.
I don't remember. Maybe you did.
No.
But I had to sit, like, under the stairs, too, like, over in this cubby hole over there in this tiny-ass little place. And I'm, like, this enormous human, right? So I'm, like, even then, like, I'm, like, huge, right? So I'm like, really? I'm going to sit here, like, a little, okay. I told my mom about it later. She like, laughed out loud, like, legitimately.
Did you get people sending you their underwear, too?
Her mom does that. She does that. My mom has an entire embroidery business now. She didn't at the time. But, like, it's all in her family. So it was like really funny that she was like, they picked you? Like, no way.
People send you their...
I was like, yeah, I'm terrible. I do it and it comes back and it's like, oh, it looks awful. It's like, well, I'm sorry.
They picked a large man for from our class too. They picked Andrew Wong for the seamstress for the seamster, I guess. We call him seamstress.
Seamstress Wong.
Seamstress Wong. He was in the corner.
Oh yeah.
With his muscles and a tiny needle.
He was so buff.
Unbelievably.
Okay, it must have been the thing. It must have been like the logic behind it. Like, okay, take the big guy, put him in there.
But he was so nice. I mean, he was the most intimidating.
Oh my god,
most intimidating guy. But
until he opened his mouth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no. As soon as he started talking, he was immediately like the nicest person on earth.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love him. We used to poke fun at him all day long, and he just would be like, "What? What? What?
Yeah.
What? I don't get it." All fucking day long. We were terrible.
Yeah, we were. We taught him like, my belly is so cute. He would say that.
Nice.
And we're like, what does that mean? And he's like, my belly is so cute. And we're like, oh, okay. But yeah, no, we
oh my god, this is funny shit.
we really did push the limits of humor with the Koreans, with our fellow Korean students.
Well, the problem was that they had to live with us too, so like, you know, I mean, in a way, it's kind of better because like it was all sort of out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember John Lee was like the only Korean I think we had in our grade. I remember getting in an all-out fight with him on like Christmas Day, like playing in recreation and just like literally like throwing each other up against the wall and stuff like that. I don't know. We found ways to keep like to be able to understand each other and respect each other. I think. Like definitely along by the by. A lot of it I think was really good natured teasing and just fun and just we were just bored kids.
Yeah.
Just fucking bored as that shit kids, like nothing to do. So that's the nice thing. I think we all lived in such funny circumstances that we all kind of like had a silent kind of band well, most of us at least had a and we kind of still have it, like the band together sort of bond of like, okay, we're gonna live through this.
Yeah, for
sure.
sure.
Do you still keep in touch with do you keep in touch with a lot of
honestly, like nobody. Honestly, pretty much nobody. Like I used to. So when I left, right about when I left, my family was living in Covington at the time, which is also the time that Chris Goldcamp had left, right? Because he was in my year, and so he had gone to college a little bit for a semester or something while I was gone, or while I was still because I had stayed. For that long, at least as a novice. And then when I left and came out and kind of had a year at home, he and I kind of hung out and, talked and shit. But we both had a lot of like a whole cart of baggage to work through. Yeah. So like we kind of lost touch after I went to college, and then that was that. I never had any hard feelings or anything. I always thought he had a crush on my sister, but everyone had a crush on my sister at some point.
Well, not me. Sorry.
No, not you. You haven't met her,
so dodge that.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, we dodged that bullet.
What college?
I don't have a crush.
That's good. That's
You're
good.
not from Arkansas,
check that.
So.
Hold on. Let me check that off my
Well,
questions.
Where are you? Where'd you go to college at?
Ave Maria, Florida.
The old Bodmanstown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually roomed with Brian Gray.
Mm-hmm.
The first semester I was there, I roomed with Brian Gray.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he thought I was such a little shit that he wanted to go room with Tim Fenzel instead, or not Tim, Tim's older brother.
Michael.
Damn it, Brian.
Mike Fenzel. Mike Fenzel. They were also in the same year, so I was like,
Yeah,
sure,
that's why.
And I got the room to myself.
To be honest,
choice.
Brian's a friend of the pod, so we can't flame him. We can't, critique him in any way.
Oh, yeah, no. I got no beef with Brian. I got no beef with
He's
Brian.
also given us critical advice in desperate times. So, so we can't, unfortunately.
Brian's good people. No. I'm good with Brian as far. I hope he's good with me because I was a little shit. I tell you. I was a big little shit. I used to steal the beer out of his fridge and see if he noticed. And then he would, and he'd fucking make me pay him back. Yeah, no.
Ave is such an interesting school because none of the stories sound like a typical Catholic private college to me. Like,
oh my god, no! It was a bunch of honestly, Ave was the weirdest place on earth because it was you had all these different weird groups. Okay, that was the thing about Ave. Is that you had like the ultra conservatives, like the Luddites, right? Like the people who like only wore floor length dresses and like when the guys dressed up, they wore like really crappy looking bow ties and just big nerds and just Luddites, you know, like that kind of thing. Not to be super disparaging of the entire class. Of people,
no, you can be. It's okay.
There it is. Okay, fair enough. But then, so then, and those were the Aves, we used to call them, right? Then you had the sports people, which were the people that the university, when they looked at their spreadsheet and they said, hey, we can't pay the bills. Let's get some sports in here. So get some students in on scholarships so they pay us some money for sports teams. We'll just, sports stuff.
Yeah.
So you had like local Florida, middle of buttfuck nowhere sports people, right? Because it was in Naples. It was like 45 minutes outside of Naples, Florida, right? So it's literally like in the Everglades, right? And then you had random ex-seminarians, random like Catholic, like intellectually like related people, and then you had like an actually like right as I got there, the school was actually pretty academically challenging, which is one of the things I liked about it because I met a lot of the professors and I really liked a lot of them, and they've a lot of them have gone on to teach in other schools at this point. But that was another sort of class of people, and a lot of my friends kind of ended up being from sort of that and the funky, weird, quirky people group. That was also me. Yeah.
Did you continue basketball there at all?
You know what's the funniest thing? I didn't. I got on the fucking soccer team.
What? Were you good at soccer too?
Yeah, no. I just tried out for the soccer. I don't know what it was, but I remember my dad was like trying to push me to like say, well, why don't you just try out for a basketball scholarship? And I was, for some whatever reason, I mean, it may have been the pettiest of reasons, but it was like literally like, no, fuck you. No, I'm not going to do basketball. I literally never even tried out for the basketball team there. Never played with them once the whole time I was there. So, which seems kind of like a missed opportunity, but at the same time, like I hated being on the soccer team too.
Yeah.
But soccer's a lot of running.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a lot of running. So I ended up switching to a music scholarship, which was fun because I actually was a lead intoner after y'all all left.
What instrument did you play for the band too? What did you?
Oh God, I played like 4. Like I played drums, I played the clarinet, I played the trombone, I played. I literally hopped around. I started playing the trombone, and then I was like, hey, I'm bored. Can I play something else? And then they let me start learning how to play drums, and I started playing drums for the band, and then I was like, hey, I'm bored of playing the bass drum when someone else is playing drums because we had 2 drummers, so we'd switch off. So, and then there was this one other kid who really, really, really loved playing the bass drum, so I let him have it. And I went and learned to play clarinet in the meantime.
Cool. And so that fit in well with your
music thing. That was fun. Yeah, no, for sure. I've always kind of been that sort of inclined, and then never really used it for anything. Yeah, but it's fun.
Yeah. What do you do now?
I work in tech, sort of. I work so I get sent around the company or around the country by this company that sells car dealerships software to help them run their dealerships. Basically, it's like what's it called? It's a CRM for car dealerships. It's been fun. I've been really enjoying it recently. Honestly, I've gone to LA a couple times. Gone back to New York. I actually lived in New York. I don't know if you. Okay, yeah. So I had a buddy in college that basically went up and lived in New York and works in tech as a coder and lives in Brooklyn. And at a bad spot when I was living in Louisiana, he basically said, "Yo, dude, come up here. If you get a job within a month, you don't have to pay rent for the first month and we can work something out." And so I did, and then ended up living up there and this is how we met, right? Yeah, you remember Michael, my buddy. You got to come over and see him and stuff. He was the thin guy who was always coughing and had the brown jacket.
I never met him, no.
You never met him?
No, I only met your ex.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the story I want to hear.
Oh yeah. No. Oh boy. That's a whole thing. Yeah, no, that's a fucking time and a half. So I mean, going back to like, so I went up and lived in New York, in Brooklyn for like right up in what's it called? Right up on the top of Crown Heights, right in Bed-Stuy.
Oh yeah.
So, oh yeah, Bed-Stuy baby. Yeah, good stuff.
Nice.
I loved it there, honestly. It was the time of my life. It was honestly one of the first times in my life that things had started going like unanimously correctly for me, because I was out of the wrenches of control of some sort of mechanism essentially, and had found my own life and just do what I needed to.
You seemed free. You seemed like a free bird.
I felt free. I felt good. Yeah. I mean, funny thing is, even then I was kind of pinned down and didn't know it because of the bitch. God, she ended up being the worst person ever. Oh my God. No, she was. Oh, so she apparently, we had dated in college. We had dated all the way through from college, like 7 years. We were engaged. We were living up there, and we were planning. This is the funniest fucking story I'm telling you. We were planning to come down to Louisiana to get married in March of 2020, and then Corona hit, and we got it. We got it before they even knew it was in the U.S. We got it and they were saying we think there's 3 confirmed cases in New York, and I'm there not breathing on my couch, right? And the first wave of that shit, holy shit, dude! I've had it 3 different times now, and I'm telling you, the first one was deathly terrifying. This is going to kill a lot of people. Scary. This room over here, you can see that door. If I got up from where I was sitting here and walked to that door, I'd be out of breath, completely out of breath. Barely could even stand. There was a certain point where we were in the apartment and just laid in the same position for the next 12 hours, and we ran the oxygen out of the apartment. This is me and my ex. We both had it. We literally ran all because there was none of the windows open, and so I had this weird new sensation. I'm kind of sitting here being okay, I need to be really aware if we need to go to the hospital and alert and be and I'm wait, what's this new sensation? Oh, I'm going to pass out because I'm not getting enough oxygen. Okay, I need to get up now and go open the fucking door. And so I literally have to trudge myself up off my ass from the couch, laying down, and just fucking willpower myself the entire 8 miles of 8 steps all the way around this corner and open up this door. And as soon as I do, all the air comes rushing in and I can fucking breathe again, at least a little bit. But I'm telling you, it was one of those moments where it was so scary that I was okay, you need to calm down because otherwise you're going to pass out. You need to be calm now. You need to stop right now. You need to get up. You need to get you kind of talk to yourself a little bit like that, just to make sure that you're doing the shit right and correctly and you're not.
Yeah, when I'm high off my ass, that's about the closest I come to something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it was like that, but in
right. That's insane, dude. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, no, it was fucking terrifying. That shit was absolutely terrifying.
So that postponed
and
things
it was hilarious. No, so super fun dynamic. My family's from Louisiana, right? So I'm living in New York. I catch COVID, right? My family goes, COVID's not real. COVID's a hoax. COVID's something made up by the liberal Democrats to get us. Yeah. And I call them up and I say, hey, I've got COVID. And they're like, what the fuck? And I sound like death, so.
I'm dying.
Oh my God. Yeah, I got COVID. I can't come down for the wedding.
My own wedding.
So, yeah. So we cancel the wedding. We postpone it at first. And then we're well, we have to cancel. Let's see if this pandemic roots itself out in the next 6 months. No? Okay, let's push it back some more, right? And so we stayed up there for I think it was honestly only 4 or so months after that, because that was so stressful and so long. But eventually she started going down on trips to DC, where she was from, to see family and shit, which I was okay, sure. DC is not that far from New York. It's an hour ride. So who cares, right? Of course, go see family. I don't give a damn. And in fact, in times like this, right, just be careful. And apparently she was, whatever. She comes back one of these times, and I go to like get her, and she is so mad. And from that point on, it was like I couldn't even talk to her, and nothing ever got through. It was just like a brick wall the whole way. And I find out, like, and it's like a couple days later, she just breaks up with me, gives me a whole list of reasons why I'm the problem. Like, I don't do this for her. Like, I'm not blah, 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 this, that, the other, yada, 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 yada. So this is around, funnily enough, July 4th, which is like just this past fucking week. And this is like a couple weeks before that, right? Around the end of June. And I fucking don't know what to do, right, at this point. Like, she's breaking up with me, doesn't tell me why, doesn't give me any like real reason. So I'm freaking out. I'm just like, whatever, I'm just going back to Louisiana. I can't, like, I'll work from my laptop. You want to stay up here, fine, let's work something out and get you some other apartment. I can't afford this apartment that I have this lease on now. So I just go back home to visit my family, like July 4th, and then essentially just decide not to go back. I don't have any money, and then I ended up losing my job around that time, and so I ended up moving back in with my parents, like, at that point. So, like, the whole, like, right, it was real bad. And then around this time is when I started finding out that she had been, like, cheating on me for like 7 years, like the whole of our relationship, like all the way back to like when we had started dating, like in college and shit. Often enough with the same guy.
That's awful, dude.
Apt.
That's awful.
No, dude, it was, dude, she was a sickness. She was a fucking
Because I didn't pick that up.
No, that's the thing, dude. I lived with her for like 7 freaking years. Loved her with all my freaking heart type shit. Like, no, dude, total blind to it.
And that's that hurts your confidence, and
yeah, really
going forward.
It kind of pulls you up by your feet and like dangles you, and you're like, hey, you're real smart now, don't you, bitch?
Here, let's give you trust issues for the rest of your life. Like, here you go.
Oh my god, dude, it was something else. I mean, honestly, like, just getting through the like aftermath of that and not just being fucking pissed all the time was like a whole thing. But yeah, no, she was. It eventually got to the point where I realized we literally never had a relationship that I thought we had. It was all a farce. Like, every single bit of it was a farce, and she's just a fucking psychopath.
May I ask how you found out about all this?
No, this is kind of funny. So at one point, I give her a call. So at one point, I'm talking with other friends and stuff, and one of my other friends, not one of the people living in Brooklyn, which, by the way, she's living up in Brooklyn, right? She's friends with my friends who are living up in Brooklyn. In fact, my buddy's wife got her a job working at the same company as her, right, at an accounting firm up there. So they work together still. And everyone up there is still, like, kind of very uneasy about what's going on. I mean, at least my two friends are like, what the fuck? I give her a call at one point because I talked to one of my other friends, and I say, hey, like, this is what's going on. And one of my other friends is like, dude, do you think she might have been cheating on you? Because, like, the way she's talking, the way she's acting, the way she's, like, blaming you for everything, like, not being willing to take responsibility at all for anything, like, doesn't it seem like, that sort of thing, right? So I called her at one point, and I talked to her, and I asked her, like, straight out, and I said, like, something to the effect of, like, hey, look, I don't want to think this is true, but here's what everything looks like. So is it true that you were just cheating on me all this time? And she literally said, I don't see why I have to answer that for you. Which is like the dumbest, shittiest thing to say, right? It's like the stupidest way to say yes, I suppose. And then after that, she walked up. Apparently that phone call happened like around a work time or something like that. She stepped out to take it, came back in, walked over to Laura, who's Michael's wife, my buddy's wife, right? Gave her a couple work items, said like this, the other. Oh, and I cheated on Mitch.
Wow.
Like, just...
Was that a power play? What was that?
So I think what it was like being afraid that like I would call them first and like say it to them and be like, yo, and get them against her, right? And so she was trying to like be like, hey, I did, yeah, exactly. So then they had a conversation. They ended up having her over, basically confronted her about it, and she like did the typical like victim routine, like literally like physically like shrunk into the couch. So I was told, which is a typical reaction that I saw for years and years and years. And like, I mean, just played it like all the way to the end until it got to the point where my buddy, who was like talking to her and asking questions the whole time, right? So he's like asking her like, what did you do? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do the other thing? How did you do? When did this happen? When blah, blah, blah. Like he's finding shit out. And then his wife is freaking out at her, like, I can't believe blah, 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 right? So at the end of this, Michael goes, okay, you've intentionally cheated on Mitch serially, you've planned to do it, and you have no remorse for it at all, right? And these are all things that you have just said in this conversation, right? So that's what he was doing the whole time, getting her to, like, line that up and say it. And as soon as he said that, her demeanor like snapped, and she went from like being cower in the couch like to like, yeah, and you bitches were like too stupid to figure it out.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Yeah, like 100%. Yeah, like full on like boom.
That's really cool.
I mean,
I know,
for me,
I know.
But yeah,
I mean, it's cool in the sense that like it sucks, you know.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's something.
She showed her true colors. That's for fucking sure.
So now she's dating the guy that she was cheating on
each
me
other.
with for years and stuff. And this,
Hope they're happy.
I don't know. I don't even care at this point. Sure, go ahead.
Mhm.
No, I had an ex like that too. Yeah, good times.
I don't imagine they could be. Yeah, she was. So when I look back on it now, it's the craziest thing. But like, I remember she was just so fucking negative, like all the goddamn time. Like literally everything out of her mouth was just like, well, this isn't quite right. Well, I don't like this. Well, I don't like it like this. And we're like, well, I don't know. Just it was a whole fuck show.
Do you think that this is something that I've noticed among ex-legionaries, that sometimes we don't have the best discretion when it comes to choosing our partners?
Yeah.
And we often choose partners that are bad for us. I don't know if that's something, if you feel like, if that's like the case for you too. I don't know, but like that for me, that was the case. Like I just couldn't spot a red flag to save my life.
I would back that up to even a more general statement to say something that like kids that grew up in the legionary system have a flawed view of relationships, and so because they've had a bunch of flawed relationships, and so when you have a really important relationship, a really intimate relationship that's like means a lot to you personally and to like your future and to everything that you know that entails, you tend to fuck it up a little bit, and the flaws get really pronounced, right? Like my flaw in that relationship, I kind of looking back on it and seeing, was to just not give, like, basically give her a benefit of the doubt all the time. I basically always would say like, you know what, it doesn't matter, I'll deal with it because I want this relationship to work, and I don't care that I don't feel like you're helping. I'm just going to keep doing it because that's love. That's what love is. That was like my mindset, right? And instead, it's a much more open eye, like, I want to see what you're doing and see who you are and see that I want to be a part of it. And luckily, I am now engaged again, have a fantastic girl, and I'm super happy. And yeah, no, which is hilarious because she ended up coming into my life like literally right after I came home from living in New York. Yeah, no, I met her like literally about, I came back in July. I met her, I think, right around near my birthday in August, right? Like a month later. And we've been dating ever since, like 2 years now, and we're engaged.
Congratulations, yeah.
So that happened.
Are you a Leo then?
Thanks.
On his birthday,
yeah.
Leo? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
right.
his name is Mitch.
Haha.
James, you
I
always
do.
do.
That's why we started a podcast. We were like, these jokes are so good. I bet everyone wants to listen to them.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Did you and your fiance like just immediately hit it off in Louisiana? Like just the conversation, everything was just flow.
Oh, we.
Nice.
Exactly that. Yeah. No, I met her on Hinge.
Nice.
Got Hinge.
Yeah.
The dating app.
We know Hinge.
And yeah, no, I met her on Hinge, and we started chatting, just texting, and we texted for a bit, and then we called, and then I came over, which she lived in New Orleans, And I was living with my parents in Covington at the time, you gotta remember, which is across Lake Pontchartrain. So for you, those of you who are not familiar with Louisiana geography, right. So the French are the smartest people in the world. They built a city. You've got Louisiana is the boot, right? Okay, here's the boot, right? And then you've got right about here is New Orleans. Here's the Gulf of Mexico all down here, right? And then here's Covington. And in between is a lake, right? So you've got water and then water, right, on both sides. And then New Orleans is lower than sea level.
That makes plenty of sense to me. Because they
best place for a city. Best place for a city.
You know,
let's do it.
French people need baths, so they want to build it into the city.
So, anyhow, we lived in Covington, which is across the lake, and there's a bridge that goes across Lake Pontchartrain that's like literally like 25 miles long. It's fucking enormous. It takes 45 minutes to go across. And so she had her friend who's crazy, but a lot of fun, had a car and said, yeah, let's go. Let's pick him up and come back down to New Orleans. And I was like, okay, sure, come get me. And so they came pick me up, and I ended up hanging out at Solen's place and stayed there for the night. And like we talked like till like 3 a.m. like 6 hours straight type stuff, like just up, just life history, backstory, like whole 9 yards, like just it was pretty
that's
crazy.
Really cool.
Worked out real well. Yeah. So it was a kind of like an instant sort of recognition, falling in love type thing. I mean, she literally like called her friends the next day and was like, "This is the man I'm going to marry."
Damn.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. I'm super excited. We're doing great. Other than our house being terrible right now.
We're not. Again, we're not talking about that. We're not. We didn't bring it up, and quite frankly, you could just tell us it's clean, and we wouldn't know.
Just make sure you let the oxygen in once in a while this time, you know?
Yeah. Don't suffocate.
I get plenty of oxygen these days.
So the next.
No, actually, one of the nice things about moving back down to the South is that like the New York City air, like it's just it's not. I mean, I hate to sound like a fucking country hick, but like it there's more oxygen. You can breathe it. It's easier.
Yeah.
Less pollution.
Fewer pigeons.
There still is
fewer
pollution.
Pigeons, fewer rats, fewer cockroaches.
Yeah, the rats. So okay, hold on now. Not fewer, maybe fewer rats, but you guys don't have alligators or nutria or bears.
We have bears
or deer.
We have bears and deer. In New York City? Yeah. There hasn't been a bear in New York City in a while.
Upstate. You probably have. I bet not. In upstate, you probably
have.
But
right outside the city, literally in the county right outside the city, there are bears. Yeah.
You know, I've heard stories about that shit when I was living in Brooklyn. I was like, what the fuck?
They don't make it to the city because there's just absolutely no way they would make it into the city.
Yeah, no. Someone would stop them.
They would be stopped beforehand, but they can make it down Westchester County, which is where I am. There have been bear spottings around here. They cross over the mountains and they cross over the Hudson River and they come down. We don't know why they come down, but they do sometimes. Yeah, it's kind of weird. You wouldn't think bears in New York, but it does happen. But no alligators, which is a good thing because alligators hide in all kinds of water, and they.
Oh yeah,
that's my biggest fear.
Gators are pretty. Gators are fun. No, I grew up with gators, right? Like one of my first memories on my mom's side, like with my grandpa, literally is like me being about 4 or 5 years old, and my grandpa is driving down the bayou near his house, and he stops the truck because he sees a gator that's out on the side of the road, that's not in the bayou, and he says, "Hey, get out! Come on, let's go." And so we get out of the truck, we get over, and he puts me in front of him, right? And so he holds me like this, so I can't run, right, or I can't do anything, right? And he walks me up like 6 feet away from the fucking gator, and he's got his pistol in his pocket right over here, just in case he needs to fucking shoot it in the face or some shit. And he's pointing it out. And this is the thing. It's funny because like he was a farmer, so he really developed a love of the land and a love of like the wildlife and stuff like that. And and spent a lot of time outdoors. I mean, his whole life outdoors. So, I mean, he used them. Some of my memories growing up with him were literally like him pointing out shit and being like, that's cypress tree. And, you know, that's one of these. And that's this, that, there. And this is what a gator looks like, son. You're 4 years old. It's good.
This is how you wrestle one.
Stay away.
You get real close to look at these.
No, but that's the thing. Is that what our family was very much not that sort of redneck. Like no, like not. My mom's side was very much like we don't fuck with that shit. we don't want to tangle with any of that. And you know they had their own sorts of shenanigans growing up and everything, right? But. Like my grandpa's got stories about how he really didn't like the preacher's son because he wasn't Catholic. He was Baptist, I think, like loosely or something. But he really didn't like the preacher's son, and the preacher's son really didn't like him. So they took sawed-off shotguns and they stood really far apart from each other in a parking lot, and they shot them at each other.
It's pretty.
While they were yelling at each other.
Pretty cool.
Out badly.
He didn't. He's both eyes.
Still here.
I mean, this is what happened when he was like 20 something. Yeah, for sure. I don't know about the other guy.
That was my follow-up question. Love it. Now, would you consider yourself loosely Catholic or anything, or there's a lag?
Oh, at this point, I'd probably be more Buddhist than anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm much more like I don't like agnostic because I actually feel like I am religiously interested. Like I feel like that's a sort of like, you know, the existential questions do hunt people, and you can feel it in your stomach, and it can really be a pain. But there are ways of dealing with that, and I think through like actually like examining things honestly and like meditating, I guess, and not being a shitty person as good, like, you know, basic starting points.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You know,
I'm big into Buddhism. Yeah,
that's kind of my approach. Yeah, no, it just seems especially like Zen Alan Watts type stuff. I listen to Alan Watts as I fall asleep pretty much like every night these days.
I've never heard of Alan Watts.
Oh yeah, no, Alan Watts is super dope. He's an old British Zen master.
That's an interesting combo.
Yeah, he went to Japan. Yeah, no, he went to Japan. And he like learned Japanese and like lived there and studied Zen with like the Zen masters in the fucking
does he talk like this
for years and years? And he is a literal
talks to you at night.
No, he probably talks like Steven Seagal.
He has a much more like what kind of accent does he have? Like more like
damn, we gonna fuck these
much more intellectual, much higher.
Yes, more
like this.
Jordan Pearson.
No,
that's too high.
Like
that's way too high.
But he also has a very much of a flow to his. You're
a lobster.
Is shrill. He's
trans people are real.
We had to. Couldn't make it. We made it 50 minutes into the podcast without bringing up Jordan Peterson.
Without a JP reference.
Oh, gosh darn it, Spencer! You're gonna ruin this whole bloody thing.
It's so much.
Dude, that's pretty
good. Thank you. That's pretty Clean your room, young man. These cultural Marxists are ruining us. I'm sorry. Continue.
Holy hell!
It's funny you mentioned China. I was in China. Why was I in China?
The last bastion.
I was looking for the perfect man in China, and I found him. His name is Xi Jinping. Our podcast is now the #1 podcast in China. Is there anything internally that you've noticed, maybe even recently? Because it's a process over time. The whole detoxifying from the group that we were in, or
Yeah, I think one way to say it is that like I came to awareness of like how much that would be a thing I had to do. Pretty like I felt not early, maybe not late, but not early. Like I didn't see it that way when I got out, And I didn't see it that way my first year of college. But like around my second or third year of college, I was kind of like, I could be a better person. I probably could stop doing some of these shitty things that I do. I have some shitty friends, and I like these shitty friends that I have, but like, I could be a better person, I think. I could do some better things. I could, not be a bully in a church and stuff like that. And
yeah.
no, I totally get it. And like, and there were like, I kind of like the whole story of my college experience was me just finding new ways to fall on my face.
Okay.
In varying degrees of severity, right? Depending, like, I mean, like we're talking like social severity, like do something, like say something stupid that nobody like laughed at, that thought was like super stupid, that everyone thought was offensive, and then now I'm like, what the fuck? I was just making a joke. I don't even know what's going on. Or like anything, like fucking God, anything. I mean, like, not really like disciplinary issues, because I either learned how to stay away from that sort of thing, or like just kind of, I guess, have that in my blood because I'm Italian. But like, well, yeah, he's just don't do shit around the fucking. I mean, like, I made friend with the fucking security guy, and then I never saw him again. That sort of thing. Or learn how to talk my way out of it, I guess. Or something. But,
okay.
But or they were kind of lax with some of the drinking rules and stuff around there, and it kind of depended on like who you were, right? I mean, me at like 6'2" and like, a big guy, kind of like having a few beers, even like at like 20 years old, and they knew I was 20 years old. I didn't even get in that much trouble for it, which I feel like is kind of like not a terrible thing for an environment. But regardless, that's kind of not on the point. The point is and even like the whole thing with my ex was like, that whole relationship was kind of fraught with this sort of the ick for a while, and it was really only until I got out of Ave and then got out of, like, I mean, I was super depressed living at Ave my last 2 years there. I fucking hated it, and I was super depressed living at in Louisiana for a bit afterwards with my ex, and then finally New York was the first time I busted out on my own. So, but yeah, I think it took a long time for me to like get to the point. Really what happened, so the full story culmination is when I'm so dumb. My ex broke up with me the first time when I was in Lafayette, and basically ditched me and just went back to her home in DC. And I was so distraught that I was just like suicidal. Like I was just gonna kill myself. I was depressed at the time. I hadn't had a job for several months and was just like in a really bad spiral. And I literally was like, yeah, I'm just going to kill myself, and had a panic attack. And then they took me to the hospital, and then I went to like a psych ward, and then from there they gave me some antidepressants, and I was like, holy shit, maybe the world isn't the worst thing in the world, or something like that. And basically, for whatever reason, just found just shook it all off and found the internal like momentum to just get up to New York and start doing my own thing. And as I was doing that up there, I was like, okay, I have to be more disciplined. I have to be a better worker, like more on time, like more, I have to be, more communicative with the people around me. I have to be kinder. I have to be more humble. I have to be, all kinds of stuff, right? I mean, you learn as you go. And I have to get rid of all this. Like for me, a lot of it is like anger, because that's kind of how my dad, in a lot of ways, his struggles is with anger, and so a lot of that is passed down to me, like directly, right? So I don't really fly off the handle as much for stuff like that, but like when I get really fucking mad, I mean, I actually got really mad with this house situation just a few days ago. And it's taken me a couple of days to actually calm down and come off of it, because I mean, it's just like a boiling red hot coal. You're just like sitting on it. You're like, what do you want me to do about it? It hurts. Okay. I'm angry.
Same thing for my dad. Like it bottles up and boils over if I don't like find another more productive way to manage it or something.
Yeah, manage it, deal with it, do something. I mean, so at one point with all the shit that was going on in this house, we actually, dumb shit, ADD brain, misplaced my fiance's engagement ring. Left it on the fence, and we didn't know where it was for a whole day. And I was just like, with everything on top of that, with the plumbing not working in the move and stuff, and like everything just being like, I was just like, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm defeated. I'm done. I'm dead. Somebody shoot me. Like,
yeah.
it was nuts. but we found it eventually, so that's a good thing.
What other
It was literally on the fence, and like we were looking around.
What other stuff do you like? So you mentioned Buddhism is like your spiritual side, but like what other kind of like stuff are you into these days? Like hobbies, interests, like what are you up to? Let's turn this into Hinge Part 2.
I play.
What are you looking for?
Yeah, 3 things you should know about me are 2 truths and a lie.
So, my job, right? So I fly over the country and go to these car dealerships and talk to these people, these car salesmen all the time, and show them how to use their computers. Essentially, I mean, essentially what I do is I show up, the stuff's all installed. I just say, hey, go to this website. Hey, click on this. Hey, look, it's all here. Hey, read the screen. Hey, look, it's here. Read the screen. You know, like here, you want this thing? It's over here. You want this thing? It's over here. So, but that means I'm in hotel rooms all the time, right? So I bring these to the airport. I listen to music, that type of stuff. I play a lot of Magic the Gathering. Fucking love Magic the Gathering. I'm a big MTG fan. I was really sad when they banned Mox Opal in Modern because it killed my deck, but I still play other formats and stuff. So, but yeah, no, at one point I was like the end game boss at one of the, because that's me, like super stupid competitive, right? Just like back from the ICAS days and stuff and basketball and everything. So I used to set up, like I used to go to this shop in Lafayette when I was living there like 2 to 4 times a week. And they'd have tournaments like 2 of those times at least. And I'd be like top 8 pretty much every single time. Like didn't pay for my entry for 3 months straight and then bought a deck on entry afterwards, which was fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's really, really a great game. Super, super hard, super difficult, super complex, super fun. So I play a lot of that. I play a lot of other video games. I just got kind of in the middle of moving now, but I'm also kind of in the middle of a Elden Ring run or 2. So I'm playing a bunch of that. We play a bunch of Smash in this house.
Yeah, you do.
I have another buddy from college who lives in New Orleans. Yeah, Smash Ultimate. We actually just got a secondhand Wii from one of my fiance's coworkers, and my buddy Don, who I knew from college, who lives here now, knows how to hack it to put Project M on it, which is a modded version of Melee. So we're gonna do that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. We did that. We did that in college too. Cool. It's super dope. It's so Melee is super fun because it's Melee. It's one of the best like kind of fighting games. Sure. I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, like ever. But Project M is kind of like a souped up version of Brawl, which is the next installment in the series. So that's a fun thing with lots of other video games and stuff. Right now, we were playing a bunch of Injustice and Zombies because we also got an Xbox for free for some reason. COD Zombies.
Send me your gamer tag because I have Xbox too. I'll
and then it's an old ass Xbox. It's a 360.
One, not much newer. Well.
Yeah. So.
Sweet.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean.
If I can remember what it is, but other than that, I mean, I kind of sit at home, cook, eat food,
brother.
Stuff like that. Louisiana. We go out in New Orleans and hang out in the quarter sometimes, and we've been to a couple.
Do you eat a lot of Popeyes?
No, not
I'm joking.
Really. No,
it's like Australians drinking Fosters.
So the thing about New Orleans and New York, or I tell people, the 2 most culturally distinct cities that are like in the United States, period. And you get all kinds of great local food all over the place. There are barely any chain restaurants. I mean, there are a few, like in, you could, like there's a Taco Bell and stuff, but there aren't like 6, right? Or like a few of those and a few of, I was literally upset when we moved in and I found out that one of the closest restaurants was Subway. I was like, that's shitty as hell. Like, I can't believe this is happening, right? But there's a bar closer, so
okay. So you're a foodie as well. You're trying new restaurants
evens out.
Shit like that. That's cool. Hell yeah, man. I love doing that.
Oh yeah. No, it's Italian family culture type stuff. Yeah, and also Louisiana culture, dude. Louisiana, it's all people do down here is eat and talk about.
Dude, I'm in Houston and my sister lives in New Orleans, so I'm gonna come out and visit and try some restaurants, bro. That'd be cool. Yeah, bro.
Hell yeah, bro! Let me know when you come down.
I feel like New Orleans has some great food, and then they have some really weird things. Like it's like we got crawdads and jambalaya, and then we got fried daddy long legs. It's like okay, I mean,
I haven't had fried daddy long legs. I've had frog legs. Those are good.
Okay.
I'm eating crawfish etouffee right now.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Boys, I better get going. I got an old-fashioned to drink at a bar.
Wait, don't go yet. We have big news. The co-founders are hosting Dr. Richard Carrier for a Historicity of Jesus live stream through Facebook on Thursday, August 11th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk about the historicity of Jesus. We're going to talk about the evidence we have for Jesus. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you can join us. If you have any questions, send them our way. But you're also going to be allowed to ask questions during the live stream. Hopefully, everything will go smoothly and we'll be able to read them. If not, we're just going to have our interview and pretend that there is no live stream. So just heads up. But if you miss the live stream, don't worry. It will be uploaded to the podcast and you're going to be able to hear it. And it's going to be awesome. And you're going to learn some new things. Maybe you're going to hate it. Maybe you're going to love it. I don't know. Hope you enjoy it. Anyway, take it away. Exit music.